get back on my rocker here. My partner had a baby. She had our baby, and I've been absolutely consumed in the best of ways with that new baby, and yeah, and missing coming on live and doing what I do out here. So what's up, guys? Say hello in the chat. Let me know maybe where you're calling in from, how you're feeling this morning. We are about to transit out of one of the G center gates, gate 46, determination of the self, love of the body. And we are about to go into the transit of, oops, hold on a second, gate 18, which gate 18 is all about the work that needs to be done. It's work on what's been spoiled. It's part of what we call the channel of judgment in human design. And it is a splenic awareness that is rooted in fear, the fear of being judged or the fear of being misjudged or misunderstood. And so, if you have this gate in your body graph, right? In your body graph, if you have gate 18, which for those of you that want to see, it's right there. That's gate 18. And you have the fear of being misjudged, or you feel like you're misjudged often, or you have any kind of energy around judgment, I want you to recognize how much you potentially fight that judgment as a means of, or in a sense where so much so that it distracts you maybe from living a satisfying life or making decisions that benefit you. You don't want to be misunderstood, and so you make decisions that other people, maybe it's easier for other people to understand. Um, and this would be a huge, like, not self activity. This is a big red flag for the synergy between your mind and your body, is to go against your own judgments in there, knowing what you need to work on but deciding to work on something else because you feel as though you'll be misunderstood if you decide to do the thing that you think you should do. This is all about intuition and again, splenic awareness, which is really, it's instinct and intuition, survival, and the ability to keep yourself healthy. So hi from the Northwest Arkansas, feeling clear, like I'm in a transition. We are in a transition, psychedelic. I'm glowing. I just spent like all morning with my baby. That's what I do every morning now, is I get to cruise with my daughter. Her name is Ray, and she is the sweetest little bean, I tell you. Which I saw a video the other day of a woman. She was saying like, girl dads are good. Stop asking girl dads if they want a boy. They don't. They're good, and it's true. I'm good. I mean, I would love a boy to come into our lives at some point, but I am so happy with my girls. I have a one that's almost going to be 3. She's going to be 3 in November, early November, and then this one actually turns 3 months old today, which is just like, oh my God. Anyway, aside from the babies, transitions, we are in a transition. So we're moving from love of the body to fear of being misunderstood. This is the lunar transit, or the solar transit that's happening. And if you don't know what your body graph is, by the way, go to my website, reikimarco.com. Um, get the thing, get the body graph, and you'll kind of start to see the sun transit is the top right one. Jonah Dempsey came out with a book saying HD is a cult. I mean, it is. It's like everything is a cult. Like religion is a cult. Like here's the actual textbook definition. The difference between a cult and a religion is government sanctity, meaning that the only reason why Christianity or Hinduism or Buddhism, the only reason why any of those aren't labeled as a cult is because the government has. You could see people that use Appleware as a cult. Jonah Dempsey is someone that um, I was introduced to via kind of like the web of human design, and we never really had a big opportunity to chat, but this is what he wrote about in his book. I guarantee you I know exactly what he wrote about, is how people exchanged one mental prison for the human design mental prison. And I've been on this tip already, which is why we created which was why we created the archive, why we created sensory design, because what we do in sensory design is we take all of this information and we'll do diagnostics. I'll do diagnostics with you and be like, how much mental pressure can you actually handle? How much root pressure can you actually handle? Because this is a language, right? But if there's no culture around the language, especially a culture of movement that values accountability, like it values the culture right now of human design values information more than embodiment. And that this is where you get that kind of cult like behavior, because you have one person that's the external authority. In this case it's Ra, or whoever in the room knows most about human design, and nobody is willing to flex their inner authority because their inner authorities are weak, because they haven't cultivated a sense of safety within their bodies. And that's what we're looking to do. It's like human design, maybe it's a cult, right? Again, you could call anything a cult. Us TikTokers are a cult versus the cult of Instagrammers. Who, you like TikTok better, you like Instagram better? Oh, you're in the cult of that, cool. Cult is another, and you look at it, it's short for culture. But culture has to be cultivated, at least for me, to want to be a part of it. It has to be cultivated within the body. And this is something that has always permeated everything that I do. And so you're saying you're introduced to Human Design by Jonah Dempsey. It's funny. I'm like, it's a great way to sell a book, but it's also like, I don't know, HD is the one man cult. It's funny though, because it's like human design, and even this system, Ra says, hey, experiment for yourself, see for yourself. And so, not to say that it's not Ra's fault, because he's for sure to blame for some things, but this is where people have to start taking responsibility for themselves. And I see human design as potentially being the last esoteric system that points us back towards the body. And the reason I say that is because it's a synthesis, right? It's like the most Frankenstein system that you can get in terms of combining systems. That system is here to help us unlock our physical bodies and our physical forms. So let me just give you an example, and whether you're into human design or not, we have all experienced pressure coming from other people, right? If you, let's say you don't live at home and your mom calls you up and says, hey, are you coming home for Christmas? And you say, oh, I don't know. I don't know if I can afford it. And she goes, well, let me just pay for you. I'll pay for your ticket. You should come home. I really miss you, etc. That that's called pressure. Specifically, it's external pressure. It's pressure from the outside pushing in on you, attempting to get you to do something. Thank you for the likes, by the way, Nomadic Princess. Appreciate you. If you guys are enjoying this at all, by the way, feel free to share it, like it, etc. And when it comes to that external pressure, if you don't have some kind of internal pressure, and I'll show you what I mean by internal pressure. Watch me get small. Now watch me get bigger. Okay, I filled myself up with air. I pressurized myself. If you don't know how to pressurize yourself and keep your posture strong and solid, whatever external pressure and external authority is at play, whatever they want to happen, that's what's going to happen. It's not fair. It might not be just, but that's what's going to happen. Yesterday, you told me to practice the breathing technique while talking with my colleagues. Ah, Georgie, how did that go? Good to see you back in here. Posture is one of the hardest things for me. So here's the thing, everyone is viewing posture inside out. They're thinking, what should my shoulders be doing? You know, where should my spine be? Am I doing it right? Again, because there's so many fitness instructors saying, like, oh, you should do this and you should do that. Here's the thing, as children, as babies, we have perfect posture. Why? Because we are not comparing ourselves to other people. We're not concerned so much as doing it right. What we're concerned about is smelling, swallowing, and regulating this, like building a relationship with the forces of nature. At some point, we become, how you say, we start to take the forces of nature for granted. We become familiar with how gravity feels. We become familiar with air pressure and swallowing, to the point where we're no longer consciously thinking about it. Now we can compare ourselves to other people, but we lose that initial relationship with the natural world. And so that's what sensory design is about. We're looking at human design and we're using the language of human design to establish your inner cult, like the cult of your heart and your lungs and your stomach and your gallbladder and your kidneys and your adrenals and your sacral. We're establishing that cult. So when people come along with great ideas and et cetera, flashy language and, you know, nice crystals and shit, that you're not just going to be like, oh my goodness, because the most valuable thing that you have access to right now is your lungs, is your heart. It's not information from the external world. It's all of this that's inside your meat suit. That's the most valuable thing that you have. And the beauty of life is that if you take care of that, and this is what spirituality is all about, regardless of modality, is if you take care of what you've been given, it will take care of you. If you smell more, the sensation of smell will help guide you, and it will tell you when, I don't know about that person. This person I need to go. Your mind might say, "Oh, but so and so doesn't like that person. So if you go hang out with that person, so and so is not gonna like it." It's like, no, but they smell right for me. Fuck so and so. Truly, because here's the thing: is if you have a relationship in your life where you're doing things not to upset them, or you're doing things because they like it, and you don't like it, or it doesn't work for you, or it's degrading for you, there's something seriously amiss. There's something seriously amiss. So anyway, how are we doing here, guys? Howdy. Love how you speak. Thanks. I love speaking. Kind of like law of attraction, but within the body. Well, and so this is the thing. Human design has so many important fundamental concepts that I think are challenging of spirituality. Like, for instance, manifestation in human design is not about law of attraction. It's about manifesting the circuitry, the energy, your unique signature into the world, which I'd love, because everybody is like, oh, law of attraction, law of attraction. It's like, how are you going to attract something if you're not a vibrational match to it? Human design is helpful for that. How much are your readings? My readings are 263, I think, last time I checked. Yeah, they're 263. Um, they're about an hour long. Sometimes I do hour and a half, but I mix these two. Like, I'll give you a report that will have all of the information about your body graph, but I'm a reflector. I'm here to um, look at where you're at, help you accept where you're at, and then help you take the next few steps. Because again, everyone wants to like focus, like, oh, I just want to master the system. I just want to understand myself. Before you get along to understanding yourself, because that's a big deal, let's just work on accepting yourself first. If I can get you to accept yourself, understanding yourself is going to be a lot easier. So I'm unable to understand the difference between my intuition and trauma habits, if you know what I mean. Something stops and makes me overthink about consequences. Psychedelic, big love, my friend. So here's the best, in my opinion. Here's the best way to separate your intuition from your trauma response. Go online, get 100-pound sandbag. Start at 100 pounds. If you're like 100 pounds, maybe start at like 60, 70, 80, but start with a weight that when you put it on your chest, after about 2 or 3 minutes, you want to get it off your chest. Okay, so you decide whatever weight that is for you. And then what I want you to do is set a timer for 5 minutes and let that thing crush you while you're pressurizing your body. You're trying to resist it crushing you. You're trying to keep it from crushing you. What's going to happen is all of your fears are going to come up. All of your insecurities, all of your weak points are going to come up because they're going to be exposed by this pressure on you. Now, remember, you can just throw it off at any point. But the way to separate intuition from trauma is by asking the body to do it in real time. Like, most people wait for their trauma to be triggered by some external authority. I'm telling you that if you learn how to trigger yourself and you know how to soothe yourself and reprogram yourself, and it's not rocket science, okay? You don't need a degree in kinesiology. You don't need to go study quantum, human design or biomechanics or anything. Literally, just get a big heavy weight, put it on yourself, resist the thing trying to crush you, and just start to deal with what comes up. Remind yourself, calm down, relax, I'm safe. Smell, swallow, cool stream of air. If you're having trouble with this, also let the eyes go up to the left, up to the right, all the way to the right, or all the way to the left. Those are parts of your vision that you're not going to be using very much because everyone is mostly stuck in focus. But yeah, be the one to trigger yourself. It's like Eminem in 8 Mile. Eminem in the 8 Mile. If you guys haven't seen it, spoiler alert. Close your ears if you really need the surprise on this one. 8 Mile. Eminem. In the last rap battle, in the first few rap battles, you have Dr. Dre who's absolutely roasting Eminem. He's like, "Your mom lives in a trailer park. You're white trash. Blah 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 blah." In the last rap, the final battle. Who's seen the 8 Mile? By the way, put say please stand up in the chat if you've seen the 8 Mile, and then I'll deliver this. 110 pounds right now. It's a heavy hug, not comfortable, but so soothing. Yeah, eventually, right? Well, creation. It's like eventually the weight on your chest, it becomes soothing. It's not like a panic thing anymore. It's challenging, it's hard, but it really is soothing. Please stand up. Got it. Yeah. So in the end of that movie, the final battle, Eminem roasts himself, and he does it better than the other guy did. And so when it comes time for the other guy to roast Eminem, Eminem's already taken a piss out of himself. And so that guy has nothing, he has nothing to roast him with. That's the kind of the idea behind the way that we approach human design. Because again, you can learn a lot of information. My reports have a ton of information. But the real gold, the real information, and Ra said this. And I'm hoping, I want to read Jonah Dempsey's book because I'm curious, like, if that's just a hook and he's gonna like, or if he actually believes it's a cult. Because in my opinion, it is a cult for sure. Human design, especially like the Jovian archive, the stuff that comes from Ra, because they're literally people that like, if Ra said this, that's the law. And that's funny enough, that's not what Ra wanted. Ra wanted people to explore for themselves and see for themselves. But this always happens with human beings. And I'm watching it happen with me and my following and the leaders that are like conspiring with me. And by leaders, I mean you guys. If you're following me, um, I consider you guys leaders because I'm looking at you that way. Like, you're not following me because you want someone to follow. You're following me because I know how to lead myself. And something about the things that I say inspires you to lead yourself so that you can lead your family, so that they can lead themselves, so that you can lead your employees or people that you work with so that they can lead themselves. We live in a different time, guys. A different time. Listening from Detroit. Hey, any manifestors in here? What's up? Initiate a few manifestors. Projectors too. Invitations. Say what's up. Sun God Ra. No, so this system, human design, was synthesized in the 80s by a man named Ra Uruhu, or Robert Krauker is what he was before. He had an experience with a voice. This voice took over him and said, hey, take astrology, I Ching, Kabbalah, and the chakra system and put them together like Tony Stark does in the first Iron Man. Flatten it out and you'll get this. It showed him how to create the body graph. And once he had this body graph and how to calculate it, he started sharing it with people. And people started to like freak out. They're like, whoa, this like is very revealing. And so he created an entire system called the human design system that showed people how to differentiate themselves. Now, remember, this is a language. This was an idea that he had. He didn't live long enough, nor he knew he wasn't going to live long enough to see, like, for instance, Pasha and myself take the language and start to ask different questions. Like, instead of asking like, oh, where does fear live in my body based off my human design? I'll look at your chart and I'll see that you have, a defined spleen with gate 18 active. I'll see you have an undefined G center with gate 36 active. And I'll say, okay, well, let me watch you run. How long can you stand? How long can you like lay under this 100-pound weight? What starts to happen? What starts to happen when you've been under the weight for 2 minutes versus 5 minutes versus 10 minutes? Right? So I'm looking to see what your physical container is actually like and your mental and emotional container is actually like, because most people are not living their human design. They can't. They're conditioned. Their mind has seen enough times, oh, if I'm myself, it's not safe. People are going to make fun of me. People might even hurt me. And that's enough for the mind to create these barriers. Is it possible to see your hair? It is possible. Should I flip it out? Should I flip it out? Like, even it's funny, like when I was first starting my spiritual journey, plenty of people would come up and like touch my hair. They just come up and grab it and be like, "Oh my god, your hair is so beautiful." And I would be like, "Oh, thank you so much." I didn't think too much of it. And then someone told me, they said, "You shouldn't let people touch your hair, Marco. They're stealing your energy." And I said, "Oh, okay." And so I became an asshole about it. People would come up and grab my hair, and I'd say, "Oh, don't, what are you trying to do?" "Well, you should really ask me for permission before you do that." And then I started like letting go whatever the people think and feeling into it. And it's like, I would love to see you grab a fistful of my hair and try and take energy from me. Most people are just like looking to resonate, not looking to take. Some people are looking to take. I catch their hands. I can smell them, feel them coming. Like if someone's walking towards me with intent to hurt me, I can feel that. I know the difference. If someone's coming and they touch my hair just because they're like, "Oh, let me get like juiced up by you," cool. I got energy. I got some surplus to share, especially with my friends and stuff like that. Sometimes to strangers as well, because I can smell their intentions. Because I do my best to go deeper than what I see with my eyes and what I think with my mind. Like my body has a lot of insight for me. I applied your cold calling tips to reduce anxiety, performed so well that I got promoted to an even more challenging role. No way. Hold on a second. For real? That is hilarious. Oh my goodness. I love that. Generator. That's what's up, man. Congrats. I realized too, it's like when you start practicing sensory design, or when you start living um, with consideration of your inner authority, we should say, um, life doesn't get easier, you get stronger, which means that the external authority will also get stronger. It's like in a video game when you start leveling up, it's not like everything just becomes easy. In that area, yeah, but then you unlock another area where there's stronger enemies. And that's how we want things. We don't, again, you don't want a pain-free life. You don't want a stress-free life. You want to deal with pain better. You want to be more efficient with your stress. That's what you endeavor for. My daughter is a man gen with only one section undefined. She's a menace, right? Like she's here, and it's going to be very challenging to or it'll be more challenging to condition her because she only has one undefined center. Doesn't mean it's going to be impossible. And like conditioning happens regardless of what you do as a parent, by the way. Your goal as a parent should not be to, "Oh, I don't want to condition my child." It should be, I'm aware of how I'm conditioning my child, or at least I'm making efforts to be aware of how I'm conditioning my children. You guys get the distinction? It's very subtle. And if you don't get it, you need to do more cheek pressure. What are the indicators in human design that a person will excel in becoming a novelist? Um, a lot of individual circuitry, typically like the 1222, the 2034, the 2010. Those are good indicators. Again, there's not necessarily, at least the way I see it, there are indicators, but anyone can become a good novelist if they learn how to leverage their physical. Again, it's about leveraging your physical body. That's always what it's been about. As babies, if you don't learn how to leverage your physical body, you don't learn how to suck on the booby, you don't learn how to push the poopy out. Those are two versions of pressure. Those are the two first lessons in pressure: is negative and positive, pushing the poop out of you. How to deal with conditioning with so much undefined centers. So Georgie, again, I'm a reflector, right? The way you start dealing with conditioning is, number one, as hard as it is, you have to remember that this is a gift. The obstacle is the way. If you're afraid of social settings, learn to be grateful for that. Learn how to say, "Wow, I'm so happy and grateful that I'm afraid of social settings." Because this is an opportunity for you to become more. And it doesn't mean that it's like, "Oh, always do the uncomfortable thing." That's not what I'm saying. But instead of avoiding social settings, while you're in social settings, like put your armor on. When I'm in at big events and where there's a lot of people and a lot of energy, you know how often I'm like resetting and regrounding into my body? Because here's the thing again, just because you have undefined throat, G center, sacral, doesn't mean you don't have a thyroid and parathyroid. It doesn't mean you don't have a liver. It doesn't mean you don't have, a pelvic floor or sex organs. I am afraid of certain social settings when I am not really appreciated. Right. So, for instance, those types of settings where you feel like you're not appreciated, one of the things that it's revealing to you is that you rely on others for appreciation. Because I can go into situations where I'm not appreciated, where I'm completely invisible, and I don't feel that anymore. I used to. I used to a lot, and like especially in college, like I remember going to parties and being like, no one knows me. No one knows how cool I am. No one knows how caring I am. No one knows how much I love my friends. No one knows how much I love Lord of the Rings and how much of a nerd I am. Like I get it. When you are looking for that appreciation in the external world, it tends to avoid you. When you discover I appreciate the way my lungs and my heart meet, which I want to do an exercise with you. If you guys are want to feel supported or you want a sensory design technique so that you can feel supported, so that you're not trying to prove yourself and you're not trying to look for appreciation or validation externally, if you want me to share that, share the live and then type support in the chat. Type support in the chat, share the live, and if we go off, then I will happily share this technique. This is one that I use on a regular basis, multiple times a day as well. What is the highest potential of having a 1-3 profile? How do I master having this? You got to get really comfortable with making mistakes, and you got to get really comfortable with like exploring the foundation. I recommend finding somebody in your life who will help you sort of like finish projects, because you're very much so the like explorer of it and the maker of mistakes in the projects. The epitome of your profile is like one who's just like a mad scientist that is able to just like grab stuff, play around, blow stuff up, and then someone else comes along and is like, hey, this experiment here was really good, and you're like, oh yeah, really cool, and they're like, yeah, like, so that's kind of the idea. I'm a manifester. I'm not really here to seek validation, especially from the wrong places, right? Is this the heart and lung separation exercise? Potentially. It's not exactly a separation, it's more so like a squeeze. um it's the squeeze. Bro, my partner's a 1-3, and holy shit, man, is it clumsy, dude? It's super clumsy. But again, if you learn to appreciate it for what it is, that clumsiness can be transmuted into like stumbling upon greatness. So is it transference when you do everything to conform, having an undefined G? Yeah, we would call that not self, not necessarily transference. But that's cool that you know that word. Um, yeah, if you're like following other people's direction just because you want the validation or you want a direction, like not to say people with undefined G centers are supposed to be directionless, but it's like you're not supposed to know what direction you're going in all the time. That's the point of having an undefined G, is that, oh, I can, sometimes we're just going to put the sails down and just see where we end up. If you're in the ocean, if you're in a defined G center, whether it's rain, shine, wind's blowing in your favor, wind's not blowing in your favor, your sails are up. If you're undefined, sometimes they're up, sometimes they're down. How do I stabilize? I go from spiritual personal awakening to depths of shame in a few weeks. Ian, great question. How do I stabilize? So this exercise right here, this is going to be really helpful for some of you guys to stabilize. And I'm actually going to share it in two parts. So the first thing that you're going to do is it's a rotational exercise. So it's going to be hard because we're vertical, but you're basically going to place your left hand palm up, arm is outstretched to the side. Right hand is going to be palm down. Okay, so I'm gonna do it kind of like in here, but this is funny. The idea is that your arms are gonna be outstretched, but I'm just gonna show you what's happening with my arms here. Now, whichever hand is facing up, which is the left, I'm going to rotate towards that. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip my hands over and I'm going to let my hands flip. And then I'm going to rotate towards the hand that is now facing up. Hands flip, rotate towards the hand. Hand flip, rotate towards the hand. Now, what I want you to do is keep your head. You see how my head is like not turning like this? I don't necessarily want to be facing my hands. I want to keep a strong midline. Okay. So it's just my ribs that are turning. My head is staying nice and safe. So if I were to do it like this, it would look like that. Hands, chest, hands, chest, hand, chest, hands, chest. Smell, swallow, cool stream of air. And the freedom it carries, it's knowing you have multiple and a lot of directions, not just one. So again, how to stabilize. I can't see your hand. So they're doing this. Sorry for those of you that couldn't see there. Whichever hand is facing up, I'm going to turn. And it's like a triggering sequence. Right palm turns up, turn to the right. Head is going to stay in the center. Turn, palm, left palm turns up, turn to the left. That was nice and simple. Think feels nice at least. Yeah, so this is just one part of this exercise. The other part, what you're going to do is you're going to take your arms and you're going to squeeze yourself as though like you're in a tiny little hallway. And what I want you to do is exhale and push your arms outward. And then, inhale, push your arms outward. Exhale, squeeze yourself like you're squeezing a balloon. Now what I want you to do is when you inhale, don't let your arms go out. Get your lungs to go inward and put some pressure on your heart. Now we're going to compound this pressure. So when you exhale, blow a cool stream like you're blowing out your birthday candles. Smell. Don't let your ribs expand. Keep the pressure. Swallow. Cool stream of air. Build the pressure. Let the pressure build up. Let the panic, let the heart raise, let the heat build. Smell. Swallow. Cool stream of air. Now, if you want an extra challenge, imagine you're hanging off a cliff and your chin is the thing keeping you from falling off the cliff. Smell. Swallow. Cool stream of air. Again, your heart should be under pressure. There should be immense amount of heat building up. Cool stream of air. Don't lose the pressure. And last time, smell. Swallow. Cool stream of air. Now on this next smell, you're going to slowly release the pressure. And now just feel into this chest area. Feel what's happened. Feel any sensations. And before you come back to the live, just take a moment with your eyes closed and just feel what's going on there. And whenever you're ready, come back to the chat and feel free to share what you're feeling in your chest. Can you show some exercises for the undefined spleen? This one's actually really good for the undefined spleen. I don't get my distraction is power. What does this mean? It means keeping track of other people's wins and losses versus personal, keeping track of your own wins and losses. So you're here to keep track of your own wins and losses. 0 to hero. Wow, that felt releasing. Yeah. What else, guys? What else are you feeling in here? And there's no shame. If you're like, I didn't feel anything, that was like scary, like whatever you felt, let me know in the chat. A monarch flew by you? That's beautiful. See, nature knows who is a part of it and who is trying to convince themselves that they're not a part of nature. Like I love that because I made a video not too long ago about how people say nature is healing and that you have to go to nature to get healing, but that you're not necessarily, like, you forget you are nature. and that you can do, for instance, exercises like this, and that still applies. Nature is healing. So I am responsible only for my decisions and not how others perceive me, and I don't really need. Yep. Felt like my muscles will soften over time. It was so lovely to freak out so much. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that part of you that freaks out, again, that's not a bad thing. It's just like, it's just data points. It's like when you were a baby, you used to freak out because you didn't know what was happening in your stomach. Or when you were a kid, you used to freak out because you fell and you scraped your knee, and now there's this like red stuff coming out and your mom looks scared, so you're like, oh, I should be scared, this is a bad thing. I didn't manage to do it properly and found it difficult to swallow 2020 as I'm watching this. Again, doing it properly and doing it improperly, at least in this instance, because all these exercises, heard like a lawnmower going off. That's how attuned my sense of hearing is, guys. Um, Even if you don't feel like you're doing the exercise properly, these exercises are designed that you can build safety, right? Like you're not going to hurt yourself doing this exercise versus like deadlifting. You can hurt yourself deadlifting with improper technique. This here is supposed to give you the support that you're looking for in the external world. It's supposed to give you the appreciation and give you the strength that you're looking for in the external world. And if you don't have this inside you, and this is, again, specifically, this is pressure on the heart, pressure on the xiphoid processor, pressure on the ribs, pressure on the lungs. For most of you, again, you're going to feel the release because you're unaware that you're holding all of this pressure. And once I squeeze you a little bit and give you some more pressure, some real pressure, and release, then your body is like, oh wow, that's what release can feel like. Like once you've done that, then you can now take a smell, swallow, and when you blow this cool stream of air, see if you can't just release your heart a little bit more. See if you can create some spaciousness around your heart. The synergistic relationship between your organs is the thing that we are in the archive, which is our membership. We're using human design to help create a synergistic relationship between our organs. And we're using our bodies as the battlefield. So you can make people feel safe in their body, even if the outward world seems unsafe. Yes, exactly, Georgie. That's exactly what it is. It's nice to have something to do at any time. I've been looking for something like this. Dude, guys, this is like literally just scratching the surface. Literally just scratching the surface. Because again, there's how many different organs in you? Your skin is one of them. Like again, if you're feeling like anxious or ungrounded, look, grab your arm, twist your skin, and then rotate against it. You guys remember the Indian burns when you used to get rotate against it? See if you can get your heart or your lungs to help you rotate your arm. Now see if you can do it with your feet. And it kind of sounds weird and nebulous at first, but you can do that. You can have awareness of your right hand and your right thumb and your left toe, and you can flex your right thumb and left toe at the same time. What is that doing for you? It's keeping you in your body. Is it maximizing your PR, your deadlift potential? Is it going to help you run a faster 100-meter dash? Look, all of these like optimizations that everyone is obsessed with, it's so that they can show you something so that you feel less than, so that they can sell you something to make you more than what you already are. Straight up. It's like feeling safe and regulated when attacked and criticized. Exactly. Yes, it can help in conflict situations. Yes. 100%. 100%. I use this. And what's funny too is in reflection, I realized, like for instance, when I had to confront someone and it was challenging for me, my hips, I would shake like this. Right? And it's like shaking is a way to get rid of trauma for sure. But it's also a sign that something, for instance, might not be stable. Like if you look at trees in the wind, they bend. But the one that's dead, it vibrates in the wind and eventually it breaks and falls. I always shake during conflicts with people. So next time you guys have a conflict, use this. And the best part about it, again, you can do it so covertly. Like I'm going to do it right now. And you guys aren't even going to know. You might hear it change in my voice because it does change the voice, but you wouldn't know. It's me having my finger on a dial when it comes to effort and stabilization and pressure and heat. I can build up heat in the body when things around me are intense. Like when things are around you are on fire, become fire. Fire doesn't burn fire. If you can match the heat and the intensity going on around you inside your own body, high pressure, high heat, and you can tolerate it, you can stay calm. I totally missed the technique just doing. Jess, it's called a heart hug. You basically take your arms, squeeze your chest, and instead of letting your ribs come out, you keep your ribs locked in and you just take your lungs and you hug your heart with your lungs. By the way, for anyone else that misses it, I'm not going to go too deep into that one, but I created a membership. It's a paid membership. It's only 37 bucks a month, which is like half as cheap as most of the gym memberships out there. We've got 50 plus classes on this and we link it to human design. So if you have an undefined G, this is a class for the undefined G. If you have a defined G, this is a class for the defined G. If you have a head and ajna, you know, which everyone has a head and ajna, this is a class for the head and ajna. We have classes to help you guys explore all of this already recorded. So you don't have to wait and catch the lives. Although we do have 6 live classes a week. Is it tensing up? Yeah, it's your arms are like, again, like if you're squeezing, if I tell you to like hug someone and squeeze someone, you can even do it with a hug. Hug yourself, feel your lungs go outward, exhale, feel your lungs get smaller, feel your ribs get smaller, and then don't let your ribs expand, don't let your lungs expand. Let your lungs and your ribs stays tight and let them put pressure on the heart. Because here's what's actually happening, guys, is instead of going outwards, you're going, you see that? Look, it's kind of very subtle, but this is breathing outwards to the sides. That's just normally what we do. This is breathing the way that I'm telling you to breathe. My chest comes forward a little bit, my back expands a little bit. Can emotions come from the not self and be inauthentic? Dude, super cool question, Georgie. I would say that emotions are actually a process of like truth moving through the not self or moving through the mind and the body connection. Because in human design, right, there's a connection between the mind and the body, right? You have your personality and your design, and the emotions are the thing that kind of weaves them together, right? Like a sensation in your body or an idea in your mind that you want to come into the body, or a sensation in your body that you want to reach the mind. That's what the emotions are for. So they're not necessarily coming from a certain source so much as they are the process of the two weaving together. That's my opinion, at least. People don't miss out on the biomechanics classes section in the archive. Oh, thanks, Sista. That's awesome. I love that you guys are up in here. Oh my God, I've never tried any of this. You're amazing. I really need this. I'm also late diagnosed autistic, so this is really helpful. Dude, 100%. And not to say that your diagnosis is not accurate, but what I would say is like in the same way that someone in human design would be like, "Oh, you're a projector. You're not supposed to do anything unless you wait for an invitation." There's a lot of popular information that gets circulated that is not necessarily true. This goes for neurodivergence, autism, etc. The people that study autism, and recognize this, the people that put these labels on you, whether it's a mental disability or mental health issue or something, they typically have something else to sell you that's going to help with that, whether it's a therapy or a pharmaceutical or something like that. Again, I'm not saying that that's not good, but what I'm saying is if you have yet to explore this kind of stuff, if you've yet to put your heart under pressure, if you've yet to widen your neck, look at this. If you've yet to widen your neck, and you have these, again, very nebulous or like falls under, is it maybe this, is it maybe that, especially if it's like a mental thing. These are the kinds of things that I would recommend you explore before becoming, how do you say, you know, the patient of a doctor who literally only has to take one class on health and nutrition in order to get their doctorate. A lot of doctors are not health experts. They're sickness experts. They're pharmaceutical experts. They know, oh, if you're feeling this pain, then we can give you this so that it'll relieve that pain. And then eventually, when you start to develop tumors from this fucking medication, we can give you this treatment. And overall, over the course of your life, I'm going to make $100,000 from your fucking sickness. It's disgusting. It's really disgusting. I try not to be too mean about it because I know the doctors are trying to do good for humanity, but most of them, they're part of a machine. They're part of a system of an external authority that doesn't actually care about you as much as they say they do. They don't have the capacity, they don't have the education, they don't have the tolerance, they don't have the body. Yeah. I don't do doctors anymore. I'm self-diagnosed. Right. Okay. Cool. You are hopefully you saying I need this, you're excited about this? Come check out the archive, come do some work with us. Not to say that you I feel like you might change your diagnosis, but you might forget about the diagnosis and realize that, oh, these are actually just underdeveloped superpowers. Because that's what a lot of this stuff is. Like if you overthink, or if you're a neat freak, or if you have a very strange way of looking at things, or you're socially awkward, you're probably not socially awkward. You can probably just smell how fake and phony a lot of people are, and you don't want to spend time with them. It doesn't mean you have neurodivergence. It means you actually have an inner authority that you're continuing to try to suppress. So how about being present at the moment, like disassociated? What exercise is best for that? Try the one I showed you, and let me know how that works or what happens. The exercise that's best is the one that works. The medical system definitely needs a massive upgrade, and you know what? It's not going to upgrade itself. I tell you that. Which exercise is best for grounding? The one that works. Whichever one actually gets you grounded. Again, this is I have thousands of exercises in my brain. We have hundreds of exercise in the archive. So if you really want help, come check out the archive. But eventually you're going to realize that the archive is just showing you how to, instead of asking somebody online who's a stranger who might be very charismatic and make a lot of sense, um, you know, that's how cults are formed. You got a charismatic speaker that makes a lot of sense, like myself. The way that you create change, though, at least this is my theory, is instead of giving you the answers and forming that dependency, I'm going to do what I'm doing right now, which is telling you, like, hey, come train up. But eventually, I want you to get to the point where instead of asking me what grounding technique is best, you come to me and you say, hey, I was dysregulated. I did this technique and it grounded me. Have you ever done this before, Marco? And I'm like, cool. Because here's the thing, I don't see myself as some authority that knows more than you. I see myself as someone that has experimented more, that I've been more willing to fail with my experiments, that I've been, etc. Don't need to go on with that. And I believe that you're capable of the same thing in a different way, but the same. You're able to achieve the same level of inner authority that I have in my life, but you have to be willing to explore. And there's, again, like I said, the archive exists. There's plenty of moves and stuff to learn, but eventually those moves will teach you that your body knows better than me, because you're in your body and I'm not. Now, there's some things where you need someone externally to reflect something to you because you can't see it. That's fine. That's not the position that most people are in. Your body is telling you to get new friends. I got diagnosed with bipolar disorder before I found out about human design. Now my experiences make so much more sense. Right, right. And again, if your human design experiment is just, oh, my life makes sense now, and you're not somatically or physically exploring your body in the way that I'm talking about, again, it's like the iceberg. You got like the top 10%, but there's so much more underneath. So much more. And human design right now doesn't have the techniques or the exercises or the experiments to give you that. That's why we created them. We have a whole system called sensory design. We host it in a community called the archive because we want to connect with people that are practicing this stuff with us. And it's been amazing. There are some of y'all that are in here right now that are in the archive that are just like, oh my God, it's different. It's different. Oh my God, that's my dream to find my own thing that works for me. I guess I find that letting noises out of my throat grounds me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Great. You said that you can be socially awkward because you don't like the company of some people. Yeah, I would say, like, for instance, there were times in my life when I was very nice to people. Look at that. Thanks for the hat, yo. If you guys are enjoying this live, by the way, that reminded me I'm on a streaming app here. Do me a favor, please share the live. It helps out a lot. Even if you just go click the share button, cool. Falgani, what's up, bro? From YouTube? They forget that eventually what matters is to turn inwards rather than working externally and superficially. Yeah, people have forgotten how to turn inwards. It's scary when they turn inwards because they're so used to being drawn into the external world. That's why meditation is hard for people. They sit and they're like, I'm not doing it right. And it's like, were you sitting down and, you know, at least putting effort into focusing on your breathing? They're like, yeah, but my mind doesn't stop. That's not what meditation is for. It's not to stop your mind. It's so that you can start to see your mind or track your mind or experience your mind. But anyway, in terms of the social awkwardness, it's like I used to be really nice to people that I felt awkward around because I could feel how awkward they felt. Not necessarily with me and they didn't like me, but just how awkward they felt in their body, how much they were like seeking, wanting attention and validation and all that stuff. And then I started to be able to discern that's not my awkwardness, that's the other person's awkwardness. And it's not that I don't like awkward people, but I don't necessarily like it when awkward people are unintentionally projecting their awkwardness onto me or casting judgments because they feel awkward or insecure about themselves. It's just not my people. And so I just stop spending time around those people. Or if I see them at parties, I don't go up and give them a hug anymore. I used to do that. I used to be like, oh, there's that person that I don't really like, but is part of our circle. Let me go up and make them feel loved. I don't fucking do that anymore. The video of your breathing helped me so much. Thank you. You're welcome. You're very welcome. That's what I do it for. You are not here to initiate. They are not your true friends. Like, yeah, truly, like, and one of the things about if you when you start to study human design and you start to actually practice sensory design, what happens is your current circle of friends typically will fall away, at least for a little bit. Because what happens is you start to become suspicious of everything because now it's like you're unplugged from the matrix and you're like, okay, I don't know if like, am I this person's friend because I actually really like them, or is it just the fact that they like hanging out with me, or the fact that I always give them rides from the airport, or etc. And that's okay. It's like a period of isolation is fine, so that you can look inward, so that you can come out of that isolation with a set of values that is actually your own, so that you're no longer measuring yourself by the other people's expectations and desires and directions and what they find validating, but that you actually have your own set of values that you can then look at other people's values and find people whose values are more in line with your own. And hopefully find people whose values differ than your own and be able to have fruitful discussions. Cody, what's up, my bro? Guys, this is all about creating the body, that your baby body was born as, like the mature version of your baby body. Right now, pretty much everyone, myself included, we're Frankensteins. We are a Mod Podge. We're a combination of the heroes that you saw in the Disney movies when you were a kid, of the people you saw on social media. We're Frankenstein. We're pieces of everybody else, and that's not bad. But the more that I've learned to let go of those pieces and reveal who I truly am inside, I've met people that are on that level. And there's people who are more authentic than me. I just haven't met them yet because I'm not that authentic yet, I guess. But the more that I've let these pieces of myself go that I thought were me, that are not actually me. And again, this helped a lot. Sensory design, what we practice in the archive, that helped almost in, like, this was like 10% of it, just to kind of like turn the light on. But rearranging the furniture, actually doing the surgery of like becoming myself, that was sensory design. That wasn't human design. That was sensory exercises, not learning about human design. When you start to have the courage to really live the life that you feel like you deserve to live and cultivate the safety in your body to be able to do so, again, life will change, friends will change, your career may change, your whole relationship, your partnership might change. A lot of things are going to change, and you will get stronger, straight up. And there's support. Like I said, I have a whole community. It's called the Archive. It's only 37 bucks. It's only $333 for the entire year, by the way. My sessions are 263. So if you want to get a session with me, consider, do I want to spend an hour one-on-one with Marco, or do I want to spend a year studying all of Marco's shit? Because that's kind of how I set it up. I just wanted it to be something that's like a no-brainer. You don't need me for an hour, but if you can spend a year learning my shit, it's only a little bit more expensive to do that. I have met someone in their experiment who is so authentically themselves. It's fascinating. Yeah, and a lot of people will end up like a lot of people who know really human design really well, or even people that don't know human design really. You can still be authentic without all of this, but you're not going to get there as fast. Like I would probably put money on people in the archive versus people that are just kind of like trying to figure things out on their own. And I do have a link. If you go to the links in my bio, you go to reikimarco.com, you can also find it there. But the links in my bios on all my socials will take you to. It's called the Archive. Again, it's either 37 bucks a month or 333 for the entire year. Richard Rudd went live to talk today about a new program which he be leading, which mentions somatic work. That makes sense. Have you ever worked with a Gene Keys guide and learned about the mudras they use? So I've worked with Gene Keys a little bit. I like Gene Keys actually. I like the way their contemplation works. I feel like they're still sort of at odds with human design, and I feel like a lot of people are still how you say sort of looking for a system to learn rather than like really learn the body and stuff. And again, I don't necessarily know too much about this new program, but that's exciting because it's like there's people that are going to be drawn to the Gene Keys way of the somatic work, and then there's people that are going to be drawn to sensory design in the way that Pasha and I do it. One thing that I realize is like with Pasha and I, it's a lot deeper than human design and somatic healing work. It's like our brotherhood and how me and him, who we both have brothers, he lost his brother, um, but we found each other in a place where it was just like, oh my God, dude, this makes so much sense. And so much of our community is built off of our brotherhood and our ability to challenge and champion each other, which again is kind of unique. But yeah, I'm happy that more people are starting to get into the somatic work because legitimately that's like the only work. And this is a time now, especially with 2027 approaching, there's like there's so much somatic work that has to be done. And I'm happy that other people are doing it because I can't do it all. My boyfriend loves investing in crypto. How to decondition him. D Trash, what are you conditioned by? Question like question of like if he's conditioned to invest in crypto, I'm conditioned to scroll on my phone, or I'm conditioned to um, you know be critical of all of his moves. Julia, what's up? Jess, she did her 7 years of deconditioning. Yeah. And I would say too that sometimes people who've done their 7 years of deconditioning, especially with human design, they're just pretending to be deconditioned. Not to be a dick, but like when you learn human design really well and you know the intricacies of human design, you can you can convince yourself that you're deconditioned when you're actually not. Yeah. Say my BF just to say you're his bro. D trash, sorry, I don't understand this. Who is do I know you? Question, how do you detach from your phone? Great question. You got to create greater you have to create better methods for dealing with your cortisol than checking your phone. One of the things about misconceptions about phones is that we get a lot of dopamine from them, and we do, but the reason we're actually addicted to our phones is because the phones are our connection to the outside world. So like imagine as a caveman, right? You don't have like a what do you call that? A freaking video camera out the outside of your cave, right? And so you don't know when danger is coming. And the way that you make sure that your house is secure is you walk outside and you look and there's no danger coming. You say, okay, cool. So I can go and go back in my cave and be chill for half an hour. And then maybe, oh, I heard something outside. Let me go check and see. The the phone has turned that into like a hyper treadmill. And so one of the reasons why we check our phone a lot is because every time we check our phone, our cortisol goes boop, boop, boop. Oh, no one said anything mean to me online. Great. No one texts me, needs anything from me. Great. My boss doesn't need me to come in early. Great. What happens is if you create mechanisms to for dealing with stress, tolerating higher levels of cortisol. Sometimes even again, the goal is to like create cortisol. Learn how to create cortisol in your own body, which this heart hug will create some stress. If you plug your nose and you pull, that's deprivation. What happens is your body releases adrenaline and cortisol because it's like, whoa, what's going on? We need air. And if you can learn how to take those little doses and soothe yourself and be like, chill, body, I'm creating a greater threshold for cortisol and adrenaline and stress. That's the true way to you have to usurp your phone's usefulness in your life with your body. This works in terms of dopamine as well. Acetylcholine, which is um, the neurotransmission transmitter that creates focus. Like for a lot of people, it's burnt out, and that's why we do eyes up, eyes to the side, because we need essentially a way to turn these neuroreceptors, give them a break, is what it is. When stressed, try breath work. I would say don't try breath work. Not that I'm not necessarily against breath work. I just think that a lot of people that like teach and practice and preach breath work are very disassociated. Like instead of like breath of fire, like go sprint, do a hill climb, or hang on to a branch in a tree for as long as you can and imagine that there's lava underneath you and hang on to that branch as long as you can because if you fall off you'll fall in the lava, right? um, and again, when you're stressed out, the goal is not to run away from the stress, although sometimes it is. The goal is to deal with the stress, deal with the thing, so that you can be so that you can, how you say, not have that stress anymore. Stress is a pressure to do something, right? In human design, the root, they talk about the root being this pressure to do stuff. It's momentum. It's drive, right? Move forward. Stress is here. Stress is the thing that when you wake up and the sun gets in your eyes, your body starts producing cortisol. Because guess what? Sun in the eyeballs means time to get up. Why? Because now is when the big light is in the sky and you can go get food and you can go get, you know, tools to make your spears and your weapons, is where you can go hunt food. Like we've only been modern men for like, I don't know, 500-600 years. Like you realize that, guys? You go back like 2,000-3,000 years, fucking savages we were. How do we start deconditioning ourselves? So I say this in every live. Eyes up, smell, swallow, cool stream of air. And I would say if you're on your phone and you're like, man, I really don't want to be on my phone, just do this every time you swipe, right? So that you don't get into momentum. Instead of doom scrolling, swipe, watch a video, and then when you're done, before you swipe, look up, smell, swallow, and blow a cool stream of your air at your phone. Now, every time you blow that cool stream of air at your phone, move your phone just a little bit further away until it's really far away. Same rules: smell, swallow, and eventually just put your phone down. Do this 5 or 6 times, 5 to 10 times, and start to create a relationship with your phone where when your mind recognizes that you're scrolling, instead of trying to ask yourself to do something immediate, put it down, just have it trigger some of these mechanisms in here. And I would say also, Ashley, come check out the archive. Like, we have a whole community where we're showing people how to physically decondition. Um, the best part about this, by the way, is like deconditioning is not so much about removing the conditioning that you currently have. It's just about seeing what's there. So again, that's the thing. Most people are trying to do too much too quick. They're trying to go too deep too fast, and that's why a lot of people get injured, whether it's emotionally, mentally, or physically. And so what we're saying is, instead of trying to decondition yourself, first accept where you're at. First accept that, oh wow, I can only do this for like 3 seconds before I start to panic. Okay, let's go for 4. Great, that feels like too much. Great, do that for a week and then increase it to 5. How do you allow yourself to deal with discomfort and be alone when growing/chasing goals? Oh, dude, this is only finds. That's a great question. Dealing with discomfort, again, a lot of these exercises that we'll do are uncomfortable. And so my answer is I practice discomfort. I don't wait for discomfort to find me. I find it in myself because I can always find it in myself. I can put myself into an uncomfortable position, whether that's laying on a soft tissue device, whether that's holding a posture. Like, even, let me give you an example here. Wait, where is it? Where is it? Where is he? Where's my breath belt? I was just using it. Oh Lord Melchizedek, where'd you go? I'm looking for the item that I use the most when it comes to making myself uncomfortable so that I can become, I found it. So that I can become more comfortable. And it's this. This is a breath belt, which is, in my opinion, ridiculously expensive. It's like over $100, but hell, it's the best one that I've found out there. And what this is going to do is this is going to put pressure on my lungs, kind of similar to what we were doing with the heart hugs. But this is going to put a lot of pressure on my body. And my practice here is to watch, drive out against it. I'm using it as a training mechanism. Ask me if this is uncomfortable, guys. How does pinching your nose and trying to breathe help? Well, it triggers a lot of different things, right? Like, if you plug your nose and you pull in, mechanically your body is thinking, where is the oxygen? Where is the oxygen? And the longer you deprive it, your body goes, hey, what's going on? Where is the oxygen? Where is it? Where's the oxygen? That's what's happening inside your body. And then every time you go, you're like, it's right there. And your body goes, God, okay, geez, like, why did you do that? And you go like, because you don't fucking need oxygen, boy. You're not gonna pass out from 3, 4 seconds. I mean, you might actually, but you have a relationship with your body, and if you don't explore it, then your relationship is just not good. Is it uncomfortable, bro? It's not, but it will be in like 10 minutes. It will become tiring. It will become exhausting for me. But again, like, I have kids. There's times when I'm holding my baby and they're asleep, and it's like my arms are tired, and I know if I put them down right now that they're gonna wake up. So what do? I fucking find more energy within myself. And I can find it because I've practiced it a lot. Why do you think we associate the heart with love when really the liver is more so the organ of love? Ah, super cool question, Jack. So Jack is talking about, um, in human design, the G center is the liver and the blood, which is the center of love. The heart, the physical organ of the heart, is actually the organ in the center of perseverance and willpower. 29 seconds, 20 seconds, and I started to panic. Yeah, so go for 21, 22 seconds. And this is a really good mechanism to soothe. Don't do this while driving, by the way, the plugging and pushing one, because you can actually, like I said, you can actually make yourself pass out with that. Just word of disclaimer. The difference between the heart and the G center, I think, is really beautiful because it shows us that our society focuses more on proving love rather than actually feeling love. That would be my thing. Because again, the heart, it pumps blood, it's circulation, it's cycling. So there's a difference between like the motion of love, the activity of love, and the actual like feeling of moving in the right direction or having the right identity or doing the right behaviors. 30 seconds holding the breath and the relief was evident, but now I want to sleep. Right. Right. So are you going to let yourself sleep? Big question. But Jack, that's a cool question. Yeah, and I would say it's a societal thing, you know, and just like a lot of things in society, right? Things are just a little bit off. Right? You go to the doctor and you get a medication that helps you feel better, but you're not well. Right? We've got music that's tuned to 440 and it's like, yeah, it sounds good, but it's not quite like harmonized with the human body. And I genuinely think that a lot of this the like cult culture, the follow the crowd, the mob mentality, like none of it is by accident. All of it, there's a sleight of hand. There's a, you know, there's a group of people that have been in time for a long time, and straight up, they have averted what could potentially be disaster. Like one thing, I have a very unpopular opinion about the global elite, but it's like I don't know what it's like. I don't. I don't know what it's like to have to choose between um the unaliving of 100,000 people as a means of saving a billion people. I don't know what that's like. And not to try and like sympathize with them, but I genuinely think that the us versus them mentality, they have that too. They have the I can't forgive myself. They have the I'm not worthy. They have the I'm not making the right decisions. And so when I like to talk about the global elite, I like to preface with that because there have been things that have been going on this planet for a lot longer than we've been alive, and a lot longer and a lot more than we have the ability to understand. And if we are going to actually make any progress, I genuinely believe that it's going to be a human to human, not a us versus the tyrants, the people versus the tyrant energy. And that is reflected internally because there's a tyrant inside you that you are not at peace with. And that's why they're a tyrant. Because if you were at peace with that tyrant, they would be a loving, generous king or queen. And I'm talking about your mind over here. So anyway, love your 10-minute boredom exercise. I do it every day. I feel better. Let's go, Helen. Bing, bing, bing. How do we follow emotional authority? Learn to push things away. Learn to push away decisions and see if they come back. Give yourself the time to build the pressure and build the heat to say the things. Like say the things that you think people will call you crazy for. Say it to their face. Like scream it into the pillow. Go somewhere safe and say it. Can you repeat what you've said about the conditioning? About like how to decondition, or what's she talking about there, Georgie? Also, old center-centered view of love. Oh, Nathan, yeah, exactly. Was that in the 1800s that we upgraded to nine-centered beings? Nathan, by the way, I don't know if you're still here, bro, but did you hear somebody said that on the live? Some cool little things. Someone was like, Jonah Dempsey released a book saying human design is a cult. And apparently, Richard Rudd and Gene Keys are doing a somatic thing now with the Gene Keys, which I'm like, cool on both fronts. It's funny. How to decondition. So deconditioning starts with like seeing your conditioning and seeing your conditioning for what it is, not for something that needs to be purged so that you can go on and live your new life. Like conditioning as the thing that kept you alive, like you doing the best that you could with the resources that you had. You have to learn how to see it and not run away from it. I know. I'm trying to read that book too. It's a brilliant marketing thing. Like I said, I am curious where his psyche is at. Um, because he was like in it for a long time. He was an external authority that bolstered human design for quite a long time, from what I gather. A lot of people looked to him. So it's basically accepting it. Yeah, because here's the thing: once you accept your conditioning, then you can start to choose where you want to go. Most people just run away from their conditioning and they run right into another conditioning. That's not necessarily of their choosing, right? Because what accepting your conditioning does is it gives you an opportunity to take responsibility. I made this choice, I made that choice, I made that choice, I made that choice. And once you start to take responsibility for the choices that you're making, then only then, I believe, are you able to actually make sovereign decisions, decisions that are genuinely your own. I've learned so much from Jonah. Yeah, like, and again, it's like I love it. I'm all about the heresy. I'm a 3-5, so I'm like, fuck yeah, like say it's a cult. Um, because it is. There's people that like will stand on a hill of human design and raw lectures, and they won't do a lick of somatic work, you know, and they'll use their human design as an excuse to why they're that's the way that they are. And it's like, yo, but look at the impact. Oh, but I'm a manifester with the channel of struggle and transitoriness. I'm here to trigger you, and it's like, fine, but like let yourself feel some of the impact, bruh. Can you tell I've had experiences with people like that? They don't even use human design. Yeah, and the ego loves labels, Heather. Exactly. Because the ego, it's like, and the ego in terms of like in human design, the ego is more so the mind than the actual ego, in the sense that the ego is wanting to make things automatic. It's like the mind does things consciously, like when you're learning how to drive, right? Consciously driving, hands and feet. Then eventually, now it's like you can text and drive because your subconscious or your ego knows how to drive. You install automatic stuff. And this is ego and conditioning are similar. Similar. Lizard, lizard, lizard. Exactly. Exactly. Lizard, lizard. Food comes, you get it, you eat it. Lizard, lizard. Food comes, you get it, you eat it. What happens when you press the lizard button and no food comes? I'm not going to wait around to find out. I got friends with farms. I got friends that hunt. See, I recently learned my motivation is fear, but I'm not an anxious person. How does that work? Oh, interesting. What are you afraid of, Sach? Interesting that you would weave anxiety and fear together. Yeah, again, people are trying to get away from their conditioning, but it's like you don't just run away from the thing. Like, make sure you get a good look at it so you don't run into the exact same fucking thing with, like, you know, a flower crown on. My motivation is hope, but I take decisions from fear. Interesting. Yeah, my motivation is guilt. So my transference is hope. The opposite of motivation is hope for me. And it's like one thing I realized yesterday, like I was really motivated to come back on live here because I told some people, hey, go try out these techniques. I think, Georgie, I told you, try out these techniques. And I wanted to hear back and see if you'd come back. And then sometimes when I'm on social, I'll get people, like young guys and girls posting stuff on TikTok and they have like, I don't know, 200 followers, etc. Like really not a lot of followers. And they're posting stuff that's saying like, I get bullied at school and all this stuff. And that one video will have like a 500,000 views. And all the other videos, nothing. And I was like, God, there's a whole generation of young adults that are inheriting so much anxiety and fear and dysregulation from their parents and the school system and the medical system and the government. And if I don't fucking get on live, some of them are not going to be here a year from now. That's part of my motivation. That's how I motivate myself. So for instance, like fear, you could look at it. What is your greatest fear? Your family's taken from you, etc. How can you leverage your fear, position it in a way that it becomes rocket fuel so that you get the things done that you need to get done? That's how you use it. You don't need to be anxious. You just need to know what your fear is, and you need to know how to mitigate it, look into the future, and use that as motivation. Most young people are now being raised by the internet. Thank you for adding your voice. Thanks, Heather. I cannot do it alone. Every single adult, especially, that is doing this work with me and Pasha and everyone in the archive, everyone that's doing this work is like, you become a beacon for everybody around you. You become a beacon of safety. You become someone that can actually hold space. Like, for instance, with emotions, Georgia, you asked about emotions, right? One of the things that we should all endeavor to do as human beings is be able to sit with someone while they're going through grief or elation or super deep sadness and not say a word, but be able to communicate love and acceptance through the eyes, not through the face, not like, oh my God, it's gonna be okay, it's gonna be okay, but to just like, I see you. And not like a pretend stoicism, like be calm, but I'm actually boiling on the inside, but endeavor to be someone that can actually fucking hold space. I feel like Jordan Peterson has the fear motivation. Mine is hope, and his emphasis on a fear never jived with me. Yeah, I would say that he has either hope or guilt motivation, which would be cool. Nathan, do you have that? I don't know if you're here anymore, bro, but if you have Jordan Peterson's chart, that'd be cool to know what his motivation was. I can do it. Yeah, and like with hope too. What is your greatest hope, and how can you deepen into trust? How can you motivate yourself to be like, hey, my motivation is hope. This is what I hope will happen. If I do something and I hope that something else will happen, how much faith can I have that that will actually happen? And again, it's not like, oh, hope motivation, they just get to be delusional, and guilt motivation have to be like really strategic. It's not necessarily how it is. Like if you're feeling hope from hearing my stuff, the hope motivation ought to get you into the archive, and you ought to be doing the exercises hoping that you create a deeper sense of safety, that you manifest your signature with less effort, etc. I hope that I will understand what is my greatest potential and utilize it. Yes, I hope so too. And I hope that you see that these past two times in my life, you probably feel a lot closer to it than you ever have. And let me know if I'm wrong. How can I discover my greatest fear? This is the only thing I don't understand from my human design yet. Ah, I see. So there is a handful of gates in your body graph that are going to be gates of fear. So you can use that as reference. But oftentimes, like I was saying, you might have adopted other people's fears, and they might be greater than the actual fears that you have in your body graph. So, for instance, fear of loss. There's the fear of not being enough. And if you have Neutrino Design, which by the way, I recommend Neutrino Design as the app. If you're using any other app, delete it and your subscription, get Neutrino Design. This is literally the best app. You can go in your body graph and you can literally scroll into like modes and stats, and it'll show gates of fear, and you can click that and it'll give you explanations of what each of the fears are. So that's some place that you can start. Again, you need the app. The app is only, if you go through the link in my bio, it'll give you 25% off, which turns the $37 a year subscription into a $26 a year subscription. I don't know how much that is a day, but it's ridiculous. It's like the best app out there as well. Um, and you can go directly look at your gates of fear. But again, one thing that I would do also is I would get in the archive, I would take season 1 of sensory design, I would do all the classes, and then I would write down specifically which exercises you felt like were the most challenging for you. And then I would look at what center they're in, and I would explore strengthening that center specifically as a way of connecting deeper with the fear. How do you relax the trap muscles? Well, the traps, a lot of time people use the traps to, um, you know, their shoulders will be high. So one of the ways to release the traps is actually to strengthen the lats and release the pecs, right? Kind of, there's a lot of things that I can't really share in here. I'm also not necessarily like a physical therapist in that sense, but that's what I've done because I have pretty strong trap. pretty strong traps. And I realized that my traps are doing the lifting because my lats are not. And the lats, instead of the lats lifting up my shoulders, especially to raise my arm, my trap becomes the thing that does that. So if you strengthen your lats, your traps are not going to be as tight. Georgie, yeah. So your hope is your motivation. Guilt is your transference. Is what it sounds like. So yeah. So when you're feeling guilt, move into hope. Like I feel guilty about this. Okay, well, how do you want to do something about it? Yeah. If what is the thing that like you hope will help you move towards whatever goal? And a lot of the ways too, hope is like, well, it's not necessarily about having a plan or having an agenda. It's not as strategic as guilt is. And so one thing about guilt, and a lot of people get these two mixed up, is it guilt or is it shame? Did you do something wrong that you need to atone for? Or is it you thinking that you're wrong for existing? Or because you did something that you're inherently less worthy? Because this is the devil's greatest trick. You guys know what the devil's greatest trick is? Let me know in the comment. What do you think it is? Is it lust? Is it pride? What do you think the devil's greatest trick is? Can trick you into people pleasing? 100%. But sometimes it's like especially for me with guilt, there's times when I thought I was like I felt like I needed to atone and I didn't atone because I didn't want to go into people pleasing. But then I never felt good about it until I atoned. So there's a difference between people pleasing and righting a wrong. You know, some people might take advantage of your feelings of guilt and they might overuse you, which again is your responsibility to have that boundary with people. Unprocessed guilt can trick me into people pleasing because I have not resolved that guilt. Right? Yeah, because it's probably not guilt. It's probably not necessarily about you having done something wrong. It's probably shame. Like you just think you're wrong and you're using the the thing that you reasonably can feel guilty about as a means of distracting yourself by people pleasing and being caught up with other people's drama and being taken advantage of to avoid looking at the ways that you're taking advantage of yourself or you're taking yourself for granted. That's what I would say. If guilt is your transference, don't try to fix people or things much. Yeah, exactly. Work on yourself, hope that it works out. Someone said the devil doesn't exist. That he doesn't exist. His biggest trick is convincing people that he doesn't exist. Yep. To confuse is deception. Yep. My brother told me this the other day, and it kind of tickled me in the best way. Tricking you into forgetting that you are divine, that you're worthy of love. Yep. Here it is, guys. Okay. The devil's greatest trick is the one that fucking works. If the devil can get you to drift, to not live your purpose, you're his. That's it. If he can convince you that you're not worthy of love, if he can confuse you enough, if he can distract you with women or with money or with status so that you're not doing what you came here to do, writing your book, building your family, delivering your message to the world, that's how he wins. And he does it with other people as well. He gets other people to convince you, come out and party with us. You don't need to, you know, self-care. Like you take good care of yourself, blah blah. So it's tricky, guys. It's really tricky. But you gotta pay attention to your organs and synergize your organs. Because to me, that's where some of the most godly energy has come. Summer, yes, I've read Outwitting the Devil. That's one of my favorite books. You caught the drifting thing. That's from there. What happens if your religion is fictional? Mine's fictional. I'm not fucking kidding. It's fictional in the sense that it's like I feel like all religions are fictional. Like who can prove their religion? No one. No one. Even the Bible is like people be like, "Oh, that's a work of fiction." Like a true Christian says, "I don't give a fuck." It helps me like connect with a force greater than myself. It shows me that my moral compass, it shows me a very deeply rooted moral compass that respects life. Now, people that follow that religion blindly, this is where you get, again, that like mob mentality. So that's exactly what Napoleon Hill says: 98 out of 100% of people drift. Yeah, and it's the same statistics kind of with human design. Like 4% of 4% of people will actually decondition themselves. Out of 100%, 4% can decondition themselves. Out of that 4%, only 4% will actually have the courage to decondition themselves. Have you read about Islam? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Fictional means not real, just something that can't be proven, right? Yeah, yeah. Have you tried human design Stella? What is that? Oops. I looked up signed Stella. My Bluetooth keyboard turned on midway. Oh, the app? Yeah, yeah. I've actually have downloaded that before. Again, super basic shit. Recycled information. Hope motivation people can be very pushy and only see their point of view when in transference. Yeah. What do you think of it? Helen, I think Islam at its core is beautiful. Same thing with like Christianity and a lot of the other religions. I think that people take, similar what they've done with human design, they take the revelation of one man or one group of people, and then they use it to justify themselves or their own agenda. Because here's the thing: when I talk about cultivating inner authority, I'm talking about cultivating inner authority and external authority. This is why the sensory training works so freaking well, because when you do your eyes up in the corners, you're not just giving yourself permission to like go into parasympathetic, you're also strengthening your eyes so that when you see something, you can see it more clearly. We have these drills called saccades where it's like I'll take my thumbs, I'll put them apart here, and I'll look at one thumb, then the other. Uh, 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 and there'll be people who go like this. I'll tell them to do that exercise. They'll have the directions and they'll do this. They can't keep a rhythm. They can't go directly from one thumb to the other. Their head moves a lot, and it shows that it's like, hey, you have like, if your physical body is not attuned, it doesn't matter what's coming out of your mouth. All of it is going to be flavored by this lack of attunement. Leah Zion, what's up? Georgie, so you're basically saying that I can be guilt tripped into do stuff that I don't want to for others. Yeah, pretty much. But with Islam, you know, again, there's a lot of beauty in the foundation of it, and from my understanding, there was the like this is what the world. It's funny. It's like there's a Batman quote. I think it's Alfred that says it to Batman. He goes, "You're either die a hero or live to watch yourself become the villain." And I've seen that happen with a lot of religions. But transference is basically the opposite of motivation. So if you're in your proper motivation, you're motivated. You have fuel in your tank, right? You can get the things done that you need to get done. Transference is the opposite of that. You don't have fuel in your tank. You're caught up with other stuff that's not relevant to you. What do you say about a partner who reacts angry to your needs and feelings? Ooh, nothing. Nothing. A partner that gets angry when you express your needs and feelings. There's two ways to look at this, and I would encourage you to look at them from both perspectives. The first perspective is that they're wrong and you're right, meaning you deserve someone better, someone who's not going to get angry when you express your needs and feelings. The second way to look at it is that they're right and you're wrong. You're not processing your feelings and you're projecting them onto him, making it so that he now has to take care of your feelings. The reason I say look at them both at the same time and say nothing to your partner is because what you need to do first is you need to start tracking data. Because right now you're looking for people to say, "Oh, leave him," right? Like Georgie said right here. Or maybe you're not. Maybe you're looking for people to say, "Stay with him because he's a good guy." Regardless, Your mind is trying to figure out this situation, and your body either already knows or it's in the process of getting to learn. He's supposed to respect and listen to your needs. Yeah, like if that was my brother, and and he was getting angry when his partner was sharing his needs and emotions, I would tell him the exact same thing. I would say, look at it from both angles. Look at it from, she's projecting her feelings onto you and trying to make this your problem to solve when really she needs to solve it. And also look at the part of yourself that can't handle a girl being vulnerable and sharing your emotion. Yeah, my body has been frozen around him. Also, I'm open head and he's defined. Yeah, so for him, and I can tell you from a man's perspective, anytime a woman starts sharing their feelings, immediately the man is thinking, great, here's another area where I haven't done enough. And not to say that's your problem, but it's something to be considerate of. And I especially think that for women, um, a lot of women look to their men to fix problems when they have problems, and then they share their emotions as though they're a problem, and then their man starts trying to fix it, and they're like, what's going on? Why is he trying to fix my emotions? Because, like, well, you when you tell him problems, you are usually telling him problems as a means of getting his assistance in fixing them. I don't know what to do with this thing at work, or my friend is here. What should I do? And again, Leah, just giving you some perspective here. Your feelings, right? Your feelings and your needs and your desires, like these are different things, right? Like feelings. Let's see. I appreciate your feedback, but the degrading language towards me isn't okay. Yeah, and I'm definitely not. I'm not justifying that. I'm looking to help you though resource a part of yourself that feels safe, like stepping away from the relationship. And I'm not for like ending relationships on the in the emotional wave. And so again, it's like, for instance, if you have a standard, and I like the word standard over needs, because here's the thing, I need you to not use degrading language with me. Okay, you need that from me. Versus, hey, look, I have a standard. I don't let people talk to me the way that you're talking to me. If you're going to keep talking to me that way, I'm going to leave. The needs is keeping you guys in this sort of loop. These are not needs for you. Your needs are like, you need to like feed yourself and have a safe place to sleep, and you need the sun not to explode. Like there's not a lot that you need, okay? That you can't get for yourself. And I would argue that we can get pretty much everything that we need from for ourselves, taking care of ourselves. And that the few things like respect and communication that you would desire or have a standard that you would want from your partner will come as a result of you taking care of your own needs. One of which is processing your own emotions. Um, so I've asked, and he doesn't think he should change. Right. So it's like now you're at the point where you have someone who is unwilling to grow with you. And so your next option now is like stepping out of the relationship. And depending on how he shows up, because I don't think it's wrong to like step out of a relationship because someone is being disrespectful. Then they start being respectful, and then you go back into the relationship. I don't think that's wrong. I think that a lot of people do that too soon, and I think a lot of people just in general try to do that too quickly. Like I would say, if you are gonna leave, yes, it feels peaceful to leave because he will only call me crazy. Right. So yeah, so leave. That's feel safe in leaving. And what I would say though, Leah, also is don't lose track of that part of yourself that maybe isn't processing your emotions fully for yourself and looking to other people. And the way that I would do this, my strategy, if I were you, I would spend the next 18 months of my life not dating. Treat every guy like your brother. And do this for several reasons. One of which is that psychologically and neurologically, like the brain in terms of relationships works in like 18-month cycles, in the sense that you're relating to people based off of your projections of people they remind you of for the first 18 months. It's not until 18 months of knowing someone and connecting with them regularly that your brain says, okay, this is their own person. Because your brain needs time to build these neural connections. And if you want to date somebody that's different than this guy that you're with right now, give yourself 18 months to just pour all of your energy in yourself and start to be able to smell the difference between a brother and some guy that wants to get in your pants. Because I guarantee you, you're not going to be able to see it with your eyes. It's something that you have to smell. It's something that you have to see in their body language. Yes, I have owned up to processing my own emotions, but he hasn't been a safe space. Right. Yeah. And it's like, again, after 18 months, he might be a safe space. Try it out again. Nothing wrong with doing that. But these next 18 months, and true, and it's hard. I know it's hard. No kissing. Don't go on dates with guys. No intimate times. You can dance, with guys, whatever. But don't build anything with another man. Um, and I would say like friendship too. Probably for the first 6 to 8 months or a year, mostly the guys that you're going to be attracting are going to be based like they want you intimately, physically. And that's going to feel good because you just left the relationship. And this guy might be a safe space. He might actually be a safe space. But I guarantee you, it's going to be the same fucking dude 18 months down the line. If I was your brother, that's what I'd say. What do you think is the best way to love an avoidant? hmm. Good question. I would say get real with your capacity to love an avoidant. Um, and I would also say become a secure attachment style person so that you don't have to love an avoidant. Right? It's like, how do I make this prison cell less cramped? Get out of it. It's like, how do I get this piece of shit to taste tastier? Should I put salt on it or pepper? Maybe don't eat the shit. Like avoidant and anxious attachment styles. Again, I don't believe that anyone can change that in someone else. Like you can't love an anxious attachment style person into secure attachment. It doesn't work. You can't take an avoidant as an avoidant. I recommend you escape, right? BK. And BK, if you're avoidant, like we can work on that, fam. If there's a competition for avoidance, I will win in the first place, right? And the thing that you guys are avoiding, because I used to be the avoidant one. I'll tell you, I used to be the avoidant one. Then I had children, and I changed. I chose to change for myself because I had something worth changing for children. I didn't want to avoid my children. And there were things that I had to learn how to tolerate. I had to learn how to tolerate my partner being in an emotional wave. I had to learn how to tolerate the sound of a child screaming. I had to learn how to tolerate, um, you know, being like, oh, I really want to go to this festival or this event, but I have other responsibilities. And I had sensory design. All the stuff that's in the archive that you guys can go watch, like right now, I used all of that to give myself the ability and the strength to be able to tolerate this stuff. So anyway, don't change yourself for someone else or you will resent them. That is true. Yeah. I felt forced to change and it was too much. Yeah, Leah, dude, you got this, fam. This makes sense. 9 months long being alone and just returning to myself. Yeah, again, like 18 months is a long time. But you know what's longer? The rest of your fucking life being glued to the hip or having children with the wrong person. And it sucks, but sometimes it's like you have children with the wrong person. Doesn't mean they're a bad person or you're a bad person, but you were with them for the wrong reasons. And later on in your life you might figure that out. And there might be some people in here now that have children with someone that they're like, "Yep, I was with them cuz they paid the bills or I was with them because they made me feel loved." But then Rona, when I started asking them for what I really wanted, then they started being really mean to me. So anyway, you didn't like it when your kid's mother got emotional? No. No, it was concerning for me. It was like I'm doing the most that I can as a man. How come you're not feeling great and perfect and loving me up and being appreciative of me? Men don't men don't like when women get emotional. Not typically for several reasons. One, because most of the time the men can't handle it. But two, because it immediately shoves them into the like, oh, I did something wrong or I'm not doing enough. And I'm honest, like I didn't like it for a while. Now I'm better at it. I'm much better at it now. That's why I always keep my door open. Learning to do hard things on purpose saves you from doing them hard by accident. Yep, exactly, Pip. That's exactly what it is. Yes, some feel attacked by it. Yeah, most men will. But again, and I'm someone that's been like punched in the face. I've been cut. I've been stabbed. I've been choked out. I've had a lot of things happen to me that you would think would make me like less sensitive to my partner being emotional. I still had work to do, and I still do have work to do. Like just the other day, it was like this weekend, we were having an event, and my partner had an intuition, and it was very like quick, very splenic, very just like whisper. And I was like, no, let's bring her. This is like it'll be a good family thing. And we're there, and it's stressful, and she forgot the snack bag, and it's terrible. And I'm like, oh my god, this sucks. Why am I even doing this? Like, are we gonna be okay? And I had my little emotional wave, and then I fucking ate it, and I metabolized it, and I swallowed it, and I told my partner, I said, hey, look, this has been really stressful getting here with you. Um, but I want you to know I love you, and whatever you think is best for us to move forward, like I'm listening and I'm on your team. And actually, this like the music is really good and the pizza is really good and we're having fun. Like it's stressful, but it's worth it. So anyway, yeah. I notice when I change within, there is a lag between my outer world. Now I see loads of synchronicity when it catches up. Yeah, exactly. Your body takes longer to adapt than your mind does, which is why the somatic work exists. Because plenty of people are changing their minds very quickly. And your mind can change in an instant, but the architecture, like your brain is a part of your body, that takes time to change. So you have to keep making that decision over and over and over and over again. And this isn't necessarily for posture. It's for pressure. Like I put pressure on myself, and the more pressure that I have to work with, like for instance, now it's hurting. Now I can feel, especially like the back of my rib cage. It's starting to like kind of collapse into feel like it's collapsing into my spine. For those of you that have been here long enough, when I put this thing on, now it's starting to hurt. It's great. It's called a breath belt, and normally they put it lower. I like to wear it high on the rib cage and drag it up. Like sometimes I'll do things where I'll twist it to the right, and then I'll drive my tissue and my chest to the left. I don't know, you guys can't see that really. Twist it to the left, drive my tissues to the right. I was wondering, yeah, it's hurting now. Marco, please help me. You, I will do what I can, my friend. I am getting kind of close to the time that I need to wrap things up here, though. But Phantom Reflector, what'd it do, my friend? I take a long time to adapt, and when I finally adapt, my partner got bored and left. Wrong partner. At least wrong partner, wrong time. Or not the right time. One thing about being ready and changing too is it's like I was talking to a guy, he was in my DMs, and he was asking how, he's like, what is the archive like? And he was asking all these questions, and I was like, look, let me just send you the first class. And I sent him the first class, and he goes, oh, cool. I'm not ready for this yet. And I said, well, when do you think you'll be ready? Not as like a sales tactic, but genuinely like what signals will you get? How will you be feeling when you know you're ready to do something? And he didn't have a satisfying answer. And it was one of these things where satisfying for me. It was one of these things where it made me think like, man, guys, how often are you using that excuse? I'll do it when I'm ready, because you just don't, like, you tripping up on my words here. How often do you use that excuse? I'm not ready. But what you're really saying is I'm not worthy of this, or I think there's something wrong with me. I don't think I'll be able to do it. Right? Cuz for me it's like I wasn't ready to be a dad. But I am the best fucking dad that I know. And I know some great dads. And no shade against them. I don't think I'm better than anyone else. I just know I'm the best. Cuz I'm doing my best. That's it. So I just came here to say how handsome you are, but also it's awesome. Thanks, Nicole. I appreciate the honesty. um, love your thoughts on HD. Appreciate you. Back to the emotional women part. You know, women are naturally more emotional, right? Yes, Maria. I know that now. I've learned to accept that. I was speaking in terms of like the amount of growth that I've had in this past year doing sensory training, when it comes to dealing with my partner's emotional waves. Because again, it's like I could lie to you and be like, me and my partner never have challenges because I'm like trying to sell you. I'm emotionally perfect. I'm not. I'm a fucking human being. I'm a man. And yes, I know, and I talk about it often how women are inherently, and I wouldn't say they're more emotional, but I would say they are, their DNA and our ancestry has shown them more so than men that it's important to share your emotions. With men, history has not been kind to the male emotional complex. When you show weakness as a man, other men take advantage of it. And for women as well, for sure. That's why there's this sort of isolation in the nuclear family of that man takes care of the woman, woman takes care of the baby, and everyone's all happy, hunky dory. No, everyone's all stressed out and feeling underappreciated. So anyway, I really find the answers when I hope. Do it, Georgie. Come back here every day, as often as I am live. I'm gonna try and do it every day. We'll see though. It's all about mutual understanding of each other's needs with boundaries. Yep. And deeper, and like realize your boundaries are with yourself. If you're with someone who constantly crosses your boundaries and you haven't left them yet, it's not their fault. What's that saying? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me three times, shame on you. You're just being mean. You're taking advantage of me. I'm kidding. That's a bit. I saw that online. Yeah, your boundaries are with yourself. Uphold your boundaries with yourself and recognize too that you have standards, okay? I don't let people talk to me like that. What makes you think you can talk to me like that? Oh, well, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that. Or like, who do you think you are? So I'm me. I'm me. I'm going to set my boundary with you. You have your standard, and then when people don't live up to the standard, you remind them, "Hey, the standard exists." That's what a boundary is. A boundary says, "Hey, you didn't take your shoes off. I have a standard. People don't wear their shoes in my house." And they go, "Oh, sorry, I forgot." It's like, "Yeah, don't worry about it. Take your shoes off." Okay, great. The next time they do it, it's like, "Hey, I'm going to remind you one more time or two more times. And if you don't take your shoes off, if you don't adhere to my standard, especially when you're in my house or my space, I'm not going to invite you over anymore." It's by this way that you allow people to show you who they are and you can navigate more accordingly. Phantom, I'm going to get to you in a second, my friend. So it's the second time I'm here. Yeah, Georgie. I have a feeling, I've had a lot of people come into my life, even just for like a little bit, or my lives, or on my channel, and then I don't hear from them for months, sometimes years, and then I'll get a random message. Like it happens like at least three times a month. Someone's like, "You introduced me to human design 2 years ago, and my life has completely changed. Thank you so much." And I'm like, "Oh, cool. My ego is great," but it's like recognize like your life changed because something inside you changed, and you decided to change and to grow. Like growth is optional. Change is always going to happen. The world is going to change around you. English is not my first language. Expressing myself with a shaky voice or while crying, being emotional. Yeah, like emotions don't have a language. Emotions is, and most that might have made some of y'all uncomfortable. That would have made me a year and a half ago uncomfortable to like do that on live. But you got to get comfortable with doing that kind of stuff in your own space, right? Then you can do it and be witnessed by other people. So let's see. You are a reflector. I'm experiencing the worst summer ever. I got into verbal conflicts with my colleagues. Always go for justice, and I always win these fights. Unfortunately, my colleagues get really mad once they got nothing to say and they start to pretend that they want to get into a physical fight. There's a girl I like, and she's my supervisor. Last time we went into a verbal conflict, she went so mad that she slammed me with absolute anger. I just don't get how someone that you are nice to can reflect the absolute opposite and go crazy from a normal argument. Have you ever had such experience? Bro, people do not fucking like the truth. I'll tell you that right now, my friend. As a reflector, I've learned to be discerning about who I'm going to reflect with. Like, and oftentimes it's taken me quite a few different like people, friendships, relationships, where I realized, man, I wasn't really saying how I actually feel. Like you might be having, I would say one of the things for me, and this is just me, I was having surface level arguments with these people when I what I really wanted to say is I don't like that you keep choosing the alcohol over us. I don't want to work with you or stand with you because I feel like you're a compromising character, and that if I stand next to you, that you're going to do something absolutely stupid and ridiculous at one point, and it's going to undermine everything that we're working towards. Um, I think you see yourself at a higher level than us because of your history and the things that you know. Um, like I didn't actually really reflect what I wanted to reflect. And again, this is just me. You might be having arguments about things that are maybe surface level stuff. Oh my god, alcohol is involved here too. Yeah. And so for me it's like when there's alcohol involved, and same thing with Leah, not that your boyfriend right now is an alcoholic, but like if people don't want to change as a reflector, and just in general, but especially as a reflector, nothing you can do speaks louder than you being like, I'm out of here. And you know what they're going to say? They're probably going to be like, well, I don't care. That's your decision. In which case, they just told you they don't care about you. They don't care about your standards. They don't care about your gifts. They don't care about how much you care about them. I'd say leave. Oh, he was an alcoholic and addicted to cigs. I mean, yeah, makes sense. Like, here's the thing, too. You will go to the bottle because you didn't get enough from mom. You don't have a foundation of love, and as an adult you didn't create that for yourself. That's why you go to the a lot of guys that are alcoholics really just don't have a foundation of love in themselves. They don't know how to nourish themselves. They don't know who the mother is. They don't know how to kneel down on the ground and suck life force in from the earth. And so they find a girlfriend who can be their mommy. Feels good to hear it because I felt lonely these last days. Dude, man, I feel you, bro. Like, as a reflector, things get really lonely because there's not a lot of people that are going to accept us in the way that we are. Are you talking from experience? 100%. I'm talking, and my mom loved the fuck out of me, by the way. My mom did such a good job of raising me, but I still went out looking for a mommy girlfriend. Everything you said is the truth. I do my best to capital T it all the time. And when it is just my experience, I will say this is just my experience, but we can find the truth. The reason why, this at least this is the story that I tell myself. The reason why I went around looking for mommy is because I wasn't choosing partners based off of my own desire. I was choosing them based off of how much they would desire me. So a lot of my partners were women who really wanted me, and it felt really good to be wanted. And I didn't really know how to differentiate my desire for a woman from her desire for me. And then it sort of turned into me suckling. But a lot of men are in that kind of dynamic. And when I got my partner pregnant, it was like, hey, Marco, you have some serious work to do around this area, because I was actually in the process of wanting to separate from her because I was feeling like I was falling in love with her. Like I said, I was the avoidant attachment. Same, I like a girl more than she likes me. Right. I did, and then I had that, and then I got to a point in my relationship where I was like, I'm in this relationship because you like me, not because I like you. And then so I started faking. I didn't think I was faking, but I started faking the fact that I liked her more than she liked me. And that doesn't feel good for the woman either. So as a reflector, like I didn't accept the mechanics that I was born with, the mechanics of being so reflective and being so receptive to everybody's energy and so adopting of their energy. And now that I have that, yeah, and I learned about self-deception, right? Now that I have mechanisms to like, okay, am I wanting to do this because I want to do this or because my partner wants to do this? Well, let me go lay on my plyo ball for a handful of minutes and see how I feel about it then. Like I will literally stop mid conversation to lay on a lacrosse ball or go outside and do some grounding. Like I will get back into my body, which is where I can actually have that. And love your honesty on all ends, open viewpoints, and sharing with others. Much love, Leela. Yeah, I do my best to be open because like that's the thing is like I'm not my authority exists not because I'm perfect, but because I'm imperfect, because I'm a human being. The techniques that I use that I'm sharing, I know work because I've not only used them with myself, but I've also used them in professional settings with people, and people's lives have changed. Not because I'm brilliant, but because I'm willing to make mistakes. I'm willing to sort out what works, what doesn't work, and then I just share. I just share freely. This is a breath belt, which actually I'm going to take off right now because I am sweating like a hostage. Man, the relief from that feels good. Look, I got a little sweat. I'm not someone that really sweats a lot, but I'm learning how to create more heat, tolerate more heat. Thank you for providing a platform to learn from you. Absolutely. That's this is the archive is what I wanted when I was first starting out with Reiki. Straight up. I wanted people that I could talk to that were my age. I wanted a list of exercises that I could do. I wanted like a way of understanding myself. These are all the things that I wanted when I first started. Have you reflected projectors who did not like to see their reflections? Yes, quite a handful of times. Um, and like I said, I've learned how to gauge someone's receptivity to my reflection. Because here's the thing about a reflector, and it's different than a projector. Because a projector, it's important to wait for an invitation, right? And so it's like a projector. It's kind of like you're at a lake and you throw something in the lake, you throw an offering in the lake, and you say, please give me some guidance. And then a being emerges from the lake. With a reflector, it's more like you look in the water and there the fuck you are. There's no summoning ritual. It's when I'm with you, I'm reflecting. Now, again, I have learned how to, for instance, also be the wind so that the wind ripples over the water so that you're looking at a rippled image because I don't think that you can handle the clear image. And what I've learned from that is that sometimes people are looking for the clear image. They don't know how to ask, and I'm sparing them the real reflection because I don't think they can handle it. I'm projecting weakness onto them. And so that's another one of my things. Is sometimes I project weakness onto people. Thank you so much, Marco. Bless you and your people, homie. Got you, dude. It's a relief knowing that everything I go through is kind of normal for us, dude. These are like less like normal. Yeah, exactly. The life of a reflector. You're going to have an alcoholic, a drug addict. You're going to have a judgmental person. You're going to move through all of these different layers. And the beauty, of course, is realizing like, oh my God, like I think I'm them. I think that if I save them, that I'll feel better. Fuck. That's kind of funny. It's fucked. It's kind of funny. I have a sick sense of humor. I'm random. Are you South American by any chance or native? So my dad is Mexican. No hablas español. Un poquito. No. I don't get much opportunities to practice. And when I was younger, I actually really didn't like Mexicans and Spanish. Um, I grew up in San Diego, so I grew up really close to the border, and a lot of the kids I went to school with were just brutal kids, like just like really gnarly kids, and so I really didn't like the ethnicity that I was. Again, typical reflector hating themselves. Oh, show me something new. Reflectors hating something about themselves that is actually a part of themselves, but they want to disassociate from because they see other people with that identity that they don't like. Wow. Yeah. Georgie, much love. I'll catch you next time, my friend. Laura. Yeah. No, I know it's kind of surprising, especially because my dad spoke Spanish, and he would speak Spanish to us, and I didn't like it. Again, just because it was like I was too close to it all the time, and again, the kids were like gnarly, like bullying other kids, and I didn't like that. And they would do it, and then they would laugh at them in in Spanish and talk shit in Spanish, and so it was very like um, pushed me away from the culture and the language quite a bit. But I was just thinking about recently that I don't personally know a reflector. Sounds like I can use being around one for a bit more growth. Star Cave. Star Cave tie dye. That's a cool name. Yeah, I I gotta be careful about how I say this because I might rope myself into something. Um, Obviously, I have a special place in my heart for reflectors, and I would say I've probably avoided creating reflector only spaces for a handful of reasons. But I think maybe that might be something worth doing. I don't know how I'm going to do it, or what it will look like, or if it will emerge in this lunar cycle or the next one. But that's definitely been something that I've been writing out a lot of lunar cycles on. What does a reflector only space look like? Um, because if there's anyone that I want to give everything to, it's reflectors, and especially like teenage reflector boys and teenage reflector girls. I want to give everything to them. So we'll see. That would be amazing. I would feel one of the reasons like I would feel bad that I can't that I wouldn't like there would be other people that were excluded is what I would feel bad at. That's maybe one of the reasons why I haven't done it. Which maybe I'm projecting weakness onto all the other types. I would love to send reflectors your way because I don't know how to help them. Oh my god, that's another thing too. Is like there's part of me that's like, oh, do I really want to open up to all the reflectors and make myself available for that? And again, a lot of this is, and you guys are just watching this happen in real time. I'm subjecting myself to the real time evolving of like, how does a reflector run a business? Because I run a business. You know, I do sessions with people. I have reports that get generated. I have a membership with my partner Pasha. Like, there's a lot of things that I do that are demanding of me. They finance my, my living situation, and they feed my family, but that's about it. That's about it. The closest thing that I have to that right now is the archive. It's a paid membership. Um, It's only 37 bucks a month, but everything like the best of what I have to offer is in there, and as well as my partner Pasha, the best of what we have to offer is in the archive. But yeah, maybe there's a reflectors only Discord coming soon or some shit like that. I don't know. I've worked with Discord before, and it was really really fun for a little while, but then I was like, oh, I'm like doing a lot of this, and it's taking a lot of energy, and I don't get much in return, and I need to find a way to take care of my family, because that's the main thing for me, guys, is like I'm here by the grace of my partner be saying, yeah, I'll watch the baby and go ahead and go for it. Was that a trigger point? Which one? The reflectors? I did just go launch into a long monologue, didn't I, Maria? Possibly. On your chest. Oh, no, no, no. I mean, kind of. It's like with the belt, is that what you're talking about? Oh, this. Yes, this is pec minor. Left arm, pec minor. Is there an option to pay in installments for the year? Soul Moon, we don't have something like that right now, unfortunately. Best we can do is the 37 a month, which is it's not that far off. Like you're getting like 2.5 months for free if you do the 333. On projectors, since I am one with that damn Alpha Cross. Oh. Last year I wanted to work with generators, but now I'm figuring out that maybe I need to focus on projectors. I got you. Yeah, like the Alpha projector channel. That Alpha Cross. That's an interesting one. I've heard a lot of things about projectors from projectors. I think projectors work well with projectors. Same as like reflectors work well with reflectors because there's an inherent sort of like acceptance with like the way that you are. At least that's how I feel. Like when I'm working with other reflectors, I get really excited because I'm like, dude, I know. Have you ever felt this? Yeah. Oh my God, what did you do? Oh, I did this. What happens if you would do this? You know, etc. I didn't like reading certain parts about the cross. Good. That's the whole point of human design. Some shit you're gonna read and you're gonna be like, I do not like that. How am I gonna make that work? The beauty is you figuring out how to make it work. So what would happen if a bunch of reflectors in one room would be like, would the reflector on Earth or something? I'm thinking, yeah. Soul Moon, save up. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Save up the 3033. It's only gonna get better. The archive is only gonna get better. I tell you that. Gotta sleep because it's midnight. Much love, my friend. Get some good rest. If you're still here, bro, one of my favorite falling to sleep techniques as a reflector is to bounce my awareness from my left toe to my right toe, and then to my left ankle to my right ankle, to my left shin, my right shin, my left knee, my right knee, my left thigh, my right thigh, and just like going up the body and just left ear, right ear, smelling, swallowing, blowing that cool stream of air. Laura, so if you just go to my website, reikimarco.com, reikimarco.com, and it's like the first thing on my page. There's a button you have to click that says let's begin or generate your chart or something. And click that, enter your information, and you can get your free chart. I've done a party with 6 reflectors only. It was madness. That's funny. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're welcome. Let me know how that goes, my friend. You're welcome, Laura. All right, guys, I gotta get going. It's almost 11, and I have the entire rest of my day that I'm excited to get to, hang out with my daughters and plan some things. So, thank you guys for being here. Thank you for 18,000 likes. I know I wasn't like sharing much of that, but thank you guys for that. Divine Moves, Rachel, what's up? I'm literally about to log off right now, but it's good to see you. I usually go live at 9 a.m. I can't say exactly what days I'll be able to go live, but just if you're into this, tune in, turn the notifications on, etc. If you're not already a part of the archive, come check out the archive. It's either 37 a month or 333 for the entire year. I would say get in before the end of the year. The price is gonna be going up, probably like January, February time. So just get in before the end of the year and you'll be safe. For the people that already are in the archive, price is not going to go up, but we do have to increase the price because things are going well. We'll just say that. Yeah, that's pretty much it. The invitation is there, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Remember, the keys to the kingdom is looking up, smelling, swallowing, cool stream of air. We have more keys in the archive, and you are more than welcome to come check us out. Much love. Catch you guys next time. Peace.